another episode of The Tapestry. I am Dr. Francois Booker Drew, and once again, I have an amazing guest who is a dear friend, a colleague. I mean, I could go on and on with descriptors, but I am so happy to have Akilah Wallace here to talk about using your voice in 2021. Happy New Year, to make a difference. And so I want to read her bio, and then we're going to get into this thing. Since this is the beginning of a new year for all of us, we need some advice and guidance on how to proceed to make this year something so different than what we experienced in 2020. And so Akilah is the executive director of Faith in Texas. She brings more than 17 years of experience as a relationship manager with expertise in fund development, event planning and promotions, marketing, multicultural media sales, and project management. Her love for connecting community organizations with financial and in-kind resources has resulted in over $5 million in revenue support to date. She is a Dallas Business Journal 40 Under 40 honoree and a 2018 Dallas Public Voices Greenhouse Op-Ed Fellow. She is also the founder of a group that is near and dear to my heart, Heritage Giving Fund, which is the first African American giving circle at the Texas Women's Foundation, awarding at this point nearly $50,000 in grants to Black women-led organizations. And so Akilah is amazing and working with small to mid-sized organizations and providing them the support and guidance that they need to be successful. And so I am just so happy to be a partner in goodness with this amazing woman in the Heritage Giving Fund. So Akilah, welcome to the show. I'm so glad you said yes.
Thank you. I'm so honored to be here with you. I really appreciate it.
Well, we're going to have a good time because, normally we do. I'm going to be good, though. So this will be the version of our normal conversations, because I tend to take it to some places sometimes. So anyway, let's talk about, as we're entering this new year, and thank God, hopefully 2021 will be something so different. But what I'm hoping is that you can share with our audience, how did you find your voice? For them to think about how they can find theirs. What was the pathway for you to do that?
Well, it's been quite a journey with me finding my voice. And honestly, I still feel today that I am continuing to explore new ways that I can expand on my voice and influence and what the priorities are as we prepare for the new year. However, how I've gotten to the point that I am now is by I would say a main component or to my strategy that I didn't realize was a strategy was really just being observant and being in spaces with others whose voices I admired and respected. Through having a period of time within my career where I served as an executive assistant, I had the opportunity to be the right hand and in close proximity with people in positions of power and influence who are very knowledgeable and experts in their field. And through that, I was able to observe and see how they communicated, how they maneuvered, various business, community, and political spaces, how they were able to build relationships, how they were able to expand on opportunities, how to make asks, whether it was financial asks or asks of individuals to participate in different projects or bodies of work. So through observing and being in proximity to really brilliant and amazing people, I was able to begin to really see a diverse set of voices and really hone into what do I bring to the table, and assess myself, assess my lived experiences coming from the Midwest and transitioning to the South, my experiences as a Black woman, my experiences as a single mother to two amazing boys, my experiences in the way that I had built meaningful relationships with women throughout my entire life by way of being a former cheerleader and a cheerleading coach and a mentor to other young Black girls. So it was through all of these things that I began to find my voice and ultimately where I landed was that I wanted to lean fully into the authenticity of who I am and whose I am. And that I wanted to be the best representative for my family and the legacy that had come before me by way of my mother, grandparents, and my father, and aunts and uncles and the like. So through all of that, I've come to the point where I just say, hey, everyone, hey world, you get Akilah, Akilah Sharifa Wallace, in the fullness of who she is. And so, yeah, that's how I was able to find my voice, because I really just was like, hey, I just want to be myself, because I've seen examples of people not leaning into their authentic selves in the ways that they try to assimilate to represent somebody else, or, to represent a space where they can feel safe. In order for them to do that, they have to kind of either minimize their voice or, change it to fit the space. Versus me, after, just various experience, I said, you know what, I'm just going to be myself. And so the voice that people hear today truly is who I am. And it's also based off of me leaning into a lack of fear around anyone having the power to diminish my voice, and or anyone who is trying to shape me to be something that I am not. That I have no fear in being able to push back and leaning fully into who I am and who I want to be.
But Akilah, for so many women, there is, as you said, fear. And there is not only the external fear of how people may respond to you, because I mean, at the core of it, all of us want people to like us, and you want some sense of approval. But, in finding your voice, as you're saying, you have to be okay with not having that. And there are times when you may go extended periods where you're not getting approval, or people are saying go. How were you able to find that and center that as a part of who you are, and not allow that fear to take over? What was it that happened in your life that said, I got to do this differently than what I've seen other people do?
I would say it's because probably pre a significant number of people publicly knowing about me professionally, and or organically, through personal relationships in the variety of sectors that I've worked in, and majority in the philanthropic and social justice sectors. My story is one that I believe is probably more representative of individuals and communities that some folks may not realize is a part of my story. And so what people see today is by way of the hard work, the support and encouragement of others who have helped to push me and invite me into spaces that others have not been as privileged or to be in. And so it didn't matter like how many more rooms I had access to, or tables, or people, or spaces. I mean, working in the foundation world, I was in close proximity to millionaires and billionaires, and business executives, and really amazing people who are who represent a certain class or sector of power and influence. But also, I never lost sight of, from where I come from, the communities I was from, my family dynamics, and just the experiences that shaped me as a young single mother. I got pregnant my junior year in college and had to drop out of school to become a mother, and become employed and try to earn a living to take care of my son. It's those type of circumstances that have made it where I don't have a fear of being without, or this strong desire to have to feel accepted by others, because, or others of a certain pedigree per se, because my family dynamic is very strong. I have a very strong family. I've had the same childhood best friends since I was in high school, who don't live in the same geographic area as I do today. And so I know that no matter what, whether something were to, likely, roadblocks that might have shown up, or people who may have tried to block, opportunities for me, or, whatever the case may be, that I'm going to be okay, because I know that I can always go back to my roots. I have my family. I have others who love and support me. And ultimately, I don't know where this came from, but I honestly, say this regularly, that I have no fear of having to start over. If anything were to cause me to have to start from scratch, I'm okay with that. Because also, I ran across a quote recently that said, I'm not afraid to start from scratch, because I realize I'm not starting from zero, I'm starting from experience. And so with me knowing that now at 41 years old, I know that I bring 41 years of stories, experiences, wealth of depths of knowledge, and data and expertise that I've collected over these years, that no matter what, I can always start over. And maybe it's part of the plan for me to, if it were to happen, in whatever way it may, take place, that I can just do something different, or have the ability to explore and reimagine something new for my life. And so, yeah, that's what ensures that fear does not live within me, because I do know that no matter what, as long as I have the opportunity to continue breathing, that sky's the limit, and I can create new paths for myself, if it were to have to take place.
And that's huge, because it is about having this confidence that you have in your lived experience and the wisdom that you've gained. It's also this confidence that you have in your faith that says that whatever happens, I'm going to be okay. And I can navigate this because I have my faith, I have my family, I have this focus. And so I'm going to be okay no matter what happens. And I think that's something that so many people lose sight of, is that you're not starting completely over. You're taking everything that you bring to the table, and if that doesn't work at that table, then you go create another table, or even a room for you to be a part of. And so what's always fascinating for me in having these years of being able to watch you flourish and grow has been not and how it continues to amplify. You use your voice to help others. And so talk a little bit about how you found yourself in this activism space, because you've always been, advocating on behalf of others, even when you were at the foundation, but you're doing it in a really major way that has a lot of national implications and is showing up in a lot of spaces. Talk about that.
Yes, so I will say, having the opportunity to serve as the executive director of Faith in Texas has, as you just mentioned, opened up so many different doors and elevated the platform for which I have the opportunity to lend my voice. What brought me to working in the social justice space is unfortunately a personal trauma. In 2016, my family experienced a devastating and unexpected loss of my first cousin, Jamal Taylor, at the hands of urban violence. And it was as I was grieving this loss, as well as the nation at the time was wrestling with, at that time, the initial uprising of the Black Lives Matter movement, various incidents of police shootings and Black men and women, being killed at the hands of our legal system. And then even here locally in the city of Dallas, the trauma that took place around the Dallas police shootings in July of that year, I was really just deeply mourning, but also like trying to figure out like what else can